It's interesting. Advocacy has always been a component of our history. If you think back to the early days and the Graves family advocating relentlessly on the Hill and partnering with Admiral Zumwalt and C.W. Bill Young to actually make this a reality. And it's through advocacy that we've been able to ensure that this program has continued.
You had a United States congressman who was interested in the program. You had a very famous chief of naval operations whose son was impacted by a blood cancer who got involved. You had a veterinarian from Colorado whose daughter was one of the first patients in the world to receive an unrelated bone marrow transplant, all who weren't aware that each other was working on the same problem. Eventually came together, found out what they were working on, and teamed up and came up with a solution to a problem that has now, over the past 30 years, saved more than 110,000 lives.
The fact that there was a real problem with the idea that there was a real solution, a life-saving solution, and a particularly motivated group of people who just wouldn't take no for an answer. The Graves family, of course. Jeff McCullough, Herb Perkins, John Hanson, members of Congress like Bill Young, who made it his personal mission to ensure that this program was established and funded and could work. Admiral Zumwalt, who had a very personal connection to the mission, using his status, stature, and smarts and political savvy to make sure that the program moved from infancy into real maturity. And talking about Congressman Young, we'd be remiss not to talk about Brandy Bly, that little girl who needed a transplant and didn't have a matching donor in her family. And Brandy's story and the story of her family setting aside their own personal needs and looking to the greater good and really pushing for the establishment of this program, the registry, NMDP, so that other families wouldn't have to face what they did. The list of people that have contributed to this thing is pretty extraordinary.
An MDP was created by Congress, and every 5 years, Congress will pass a law, essentially, to create the National Registry. We don't look at it as a burden, but an opportunity. We have to ensure that we are never taking no for an answer, that we're ensuring we're always there for patients. We don't take the fact that we're the National Registry lightly at all. I think you see it through the passion of our employees, and every day the work they do. They know that every day matters, that the work they do every day is a reflection of the National Registry and the fact that we are here to ensure that we're saving more lives each and every day.
This has actually been a labor of love. I actually have worked with them since the program was created back in the mid-1980s. I worked for Congressman Bill Young from Florida, who was the member of Congress who was driving the creation of this National Registry. Congressman Young used to always say that everybody who's touched with this program will be part of it forever, and that all of the donors that are participating in the program were all heroes. And I think that's proven out. There have been almost 110,000 donations over the 30-plus years of the program, and each of those individual donors is a hero who has helped to save a life of a patient. And I think many of the things that he said in those early days of helping to create this program have proven to be true about the expanding number of diseases it can treat, the growing number of people who need a bone marrow transplant, the willingness of people to volunteer to be a bone marrow donor. All of that has proven to be true, and the program continues to grow and evolve as we move forward.
You know, you think back to the late 80s when the discussion was around nobody will say, even if you do set up a registry, who will sign up? But those individuals who founded this program didn't like that answer to the point where they wouldn't accept that answer. And here we are today. You know, almost 120,000 transplants as we're sitting here today, made possible by the gift of an unrelated donor, a stranger that the patient had never met. 39 million people on any given day have been signed up across the globe to step up and give that gift. And so that's why it's important that we at NMDP are forward thinking. We're always forward acting. It's our job to have thought about the obstacles. It's our job to have overcome those obstacles. It's our job to pave the path for those who have not yet been diagnosed. And that's what we do literally every day.